I'm so thrilled to be here and share this moment with all of you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are witnessing history in real time. We are standing at the precipice of a moment that Philippine sports has waited for, not just for years, but for decades. If you are listening to this right now, you are tuning in to the single most significant week in the modern history of Southeast Asian tennis. The wait is over. The speculation is done. The flights have landed. The courts at the Rizal Memorial Tennis Center have been polished to a shine, and crowds are already gathering at the gates. This is not just another tournament. This is the homecoming. Breaking news out of Manila. Alexandra Eala, the pride of the Philippines, the woman who has single-handedly dragged the nation's tennis program into the global spotlight, has been officially seated number 2 in the inaugural Philippine Women's Open. You heard that correctly. In the first ever WTA 125 event to be hosted on Philippine soil, the hometown hero is not just a participant. She is a target. She is one of the favorites to lift the trophy. Let's contextualize the electricity in the air right now. We are calling this Mania in Manila for a reason. We have seen this kind of fervor before. We saw it when Manny Pacquiao stopped the streets of the metro during his prime. We saw it when the national basketball team, Gilas, plays at home. But for tennis, this is uncharted territory. This is a sport that, for the longest time in this archipelago, was relegated to country clubs and niche circles. Alex Eala has changed the equation. She has democratized the excitement. Just days ago, she was in Melbourne battling in the heat of the Australian Open. It was a heartbreaker there, a first-round exit against the heavy-hitting American Alicia Parks. But that loss, painful as it was, has only set the stage for a cinematic redemption arc here in Manila. She didn't stay down. She got on a plane, flew back to the tropics, and is now ready to defend her turf. She enters this tournament ranked number 49 in the world. Let that sink in. Number 49. A teenager who started hitting balls in Quezon City is now inside the top 50 of the Women's Tennis Association. She is the highest-ranked Filipino player in history, bar none. And now, for the first time as a bona fide WTA star, she plays a professional tournament in her own backyard. The draw is out and the path is set. Her first challenge? The Russian powerhouse, Alina Kareva. This is not an exhibition match. This is not a friendly. There are ranking points on the line. There's prize money on the line. And more importantly, there's pride. The pressure on Eala's shoulders is monumental. Imagine walking onto the court where every single person stands, thousands of them, is chanting your name, expecting you to win, needing you to validate their hope. That is a heavy burden for a 20-year-old. But if we know anything about Alex Eala, it is that she does not crumble under pressure. She is forged by it. This week in Manila is about more than forehands and backhands. It is about a cultural shift. It is about the Eala effect. We are seeing tickets sell out. We are seeing young girls picking up rackets for the first time. We are seeing international media turning their cameras toward the Philippines, a country that was off the tennis map until she put it there. So buckle up. Over the next hour, we're going to tear this story apart and rebuild it piece by piece. We're going to look at the statistics, the strategy against Kareva, the implications of her top 50 ranking, and the sheer magnitude of what a title win here would mean for Asian tennis. This is the deep dive you've been waiting for. The Queen has returned to her court. The crowd is ready. The world is watching. This is Mania in Manila. Let's get into it. To understand why this seed, number 2, is so significant, we have to rewind the tape on the last 12 months of Alexandra Eala's career. You cannot appreciate the Mania without appreciating the grind that preceded it. 2025 was the breakthrough. It was the year potential turned into performance. We saw her secure her first main draw win at the U.S. Open, defeating Clara Towson. That wasn't just a win, it was a statement. It was proof that she could hang with the heavy hitters on the hard courts of New York. Then came the steady climb. The grind of the ITF circuit. The flashes of brilliance in the WTA 250s. Fast forward to January 2026. Just weeks ago, in Auckland, New Zealand, at the ASB Classic, Eala didn't just show up, she arrived. A run to the semifinals that sent shockwaves through the tour. That performance was a catalyst that propelled her into the top 50. Breaking the top 50 is the holy grail for rising stars. It separates the prospects from the contenders. It means direct entry into Grand Slams. It means respect in the locker room. So when she lands in Manila, she isn't landing as a local wild card who needs a favor to get into the draw. She is landing as a legitimate, high-ranking seed. She earned this spot. She is the second highest-ranked player in the entire tournament. That changes the dynamic entirely. She isn't the underdog story anymore. She is the Goliath. And being Goliath at home comes with a very specific set of psychological challenges. The venue, Rizal Memorial, and the ghosts of history. Let's talk about the venue. The Rizal Memorial Tennis Center. If walls could talk, these would scream. This is a historic venue, but for years, it needed modernization to host a tour-level event. The fact that the WTA is here, a WTA 125 event, is a minor miracle of sports administration and logistics. It signifies that the Philippines is ready to be a host for global tennis. But for Eala, this is personal. This is where the roots are. Playing on these courts, in this humidity, with this specific crowd noise, it is a double-edged sword. The home court advantage in tennis is tricky. In football or basketball, the crowd noise fuels you entirely. In tennis, a sport of silence and concentration, the overwhelming love of a crowd can sometimes be a distraction. Eala has to manage the expectations of a nation that treats its athletes like national heroes. Every unforced error will elicit a collective gasp. Every winner will cause a roar that could shake the umpire's chair. She has spoken about this in press conferences leading up to the event. She keeps saying, "I take it match by match." The mindset is the same. That is the right thing to say. That is the professional answer. But deep down, she knows this is different. You cannot simulate the feeling of playing for your own people. Tactical breakdown. Eala versus Kariva. Let's look at the first-round matchup. Alina Kariva. If you are just looking at the rankings, you might think this is a walkover for Eala. You would be wrong. Kariva is a dangerous player. She is a neutral athlete, playing with that specific grit we often see from Eastern European competitors. She is a heavy game. She hits the ball flat and hard. Eala is a lefty. That is her primary weapon. The lefty serve out wide on the ad court is a shot she has perfected over the last 2 years at the Rafa Nadal Academy. On the courts of Manila, which can play fast depending on the heat and humidity, that lefty spin is going to be crucial. She needs to open up the court. The key tactical battle here will be the backhand-to-backhand exchanges. Eala's two-handed backhand has become a laser beam. It is her most reliable ground stroke. However, she needs to be careful not to get into a passive rally. Kariva will look to attack any short ball. Eala's transition game, moving from the baseline to the net, has improved, but it is still a work in progress. In front of a home crowd, adrenaline often makes players overhit. Eala needs to control her adrenaline. She needs to play with what we call controlled aggression. If Eala tries to blast Kariva off the court to impress the fans, she might rack up unforced errors. The smart play is to use her lefty advantage, work the angles, move Kariva side to side in the Manila heat, and wait for the opening. The humidity is the unspoken third player on the court. Eala grew up in this. She knows how heavy the air gets. Kariva might struggle as the match goes deep into a second or third set. Condition-wise, the advantage goes to the Filipina. The Mania, and the cultural weight, we need to pause and discuss the cultural phenomenon we are witnessing. Why is this called Mania? The Philippines is a basketball country. It is a boxing country. It is a pageant country. It has never been a tennis country. Until now, Alex Eala is doing for Philippine tennis what Yuna Kim did for Korean figure skating. She is a singular talent that captures the imagination. When she says, in previous interviews, there are 115 million Filipinos, and I am the first, she is acknowledging the solitude of her position. There is no blueprint. There is no predecessor she can call for advice on how to handle being a top 50 Filipino tennis player, because there has never been one. This tournament, the Philippine Open, is built around her. Let's be honest. The sponsors, the ticket sales, the media coverage, it is all driven by the Eala brand. That is a massive amount of commercial and social weight to carry. If she loses in the first round, the balloon deflates. If she wins, the mania grows. But look at the other Filipinos in the draw. We have players like Emina, the UAP MVP. We have the qualifiers. They are getting a chance to play in a WTA event because of the path Eala cleared. The Eala effect is rising tides lifting all boats. Local players are getting exposure to world-class officiating, world-class facilities, and world-class opponents, all because the tour came to Manila for Alex. The road ahead, what a win means. If Alex Eala wins this title, what happens? First, the ranking points. A WTA 125 title provides a significant boost. It solidifies her spot in the top 50, potentially pushing her toward the top 40. This is crucial for seeding in future Grand Slams. If she can get seeded at Roland Garros or Wimbledon, her path to the second week of a major becomes much easier. Second, the confidence. Recovering from that Australian Open loss to Alicia Parks is vital. Tennis is a sport of short memories. You lose, you fly, you play again. A title run at home would be the perfect palate cleanser. It would prove that she can handle the big stage pressure, even when the stage is her own home. Third, the legacy. I know she is only 20. It feels early to talk about legacy. But winning the inaugural Philippine Open, that is something they write in history books. 50 years from now, when people look back at the history of tennis in Asia, they will look at the winner of the first Manila WTA event. Eala wants her name on that trophy. Potential pitfalls. We must be objective. What could go wrong? The distraction factor. Media requests, family, friends, sponsors. Everyone wants a piece of her this week. Managing time and energy off the court is just as important as forehands and backhands. The opponent. The field is not empty. We have seasoned veterans and hungry up-and-comers. Being the number 2 seed puts a target on her back. Every lower-ranked player wants the glory of knocking out the hometown hero. They have nothing to lose. Eala has everything to lose. That creates a dangerous psychological imbalance. And finally, the physical toll. The transition from Australian hard courts to Manila, even if the surface is similar, the conditions are different, is tough. The travel, the jet lag, the change in humidity. These are elite athletes, but they are human. As we wrap up this extensive analysis, let us zoom out one final time. We often get lost in the numbers. We talk about rankings, seedings, unforced errors, and serve percentages. And yes, those things decide who wins a match. But they do not decide who wins the heart of a nation. What is happening in Manila right now is bigger than sport. It is a narrative of arrival. For decades, Filipino athletes have had to leave home to find glory. They train abroad, they compete abroad, they win abroad. And we watch them on screens, thousands of miles away, celebrating in time zones that don't match our own. This week is different. This week, the glory has come to the doorstep. Alexandra Eala is not just playing for herself. When she steps onto that court at Rizal Memorial, she is playing for every young kid in the provinces who is holding a heavy wooden racket, hitting a fuzzy ball against a wall, daring to dream that maybe, just maybe, they can be world-class too. She is playing to prove that a Filipino can stand toe-to-toe with the Russians, the Americans, the Europeans, and not just compete, but dominate. The number 2 seed next to her name is a badge of honor. It is a receipt for the years of sacrifice, the years away from family at the academy in Spain, the lonely nights in hotel rooms, the injuries, and the losses. It is validation. But the tournament has not been won yet. The script has not been fully written. The ball is still round, and the match must be played. Whether she lifts the trophy on Sunday or bows out early, the victory has arguably already been achieved. The victory is the event itself. The victory is the crowd. The victory is the mania. We will be covering every serve, every volley, and every point of this historic week. Do not blink. Do not look away. Because you are watching the golden era of Philippine tennis unfold before your very eyes. Alex Eala is ready. Manila is ready. The world is watching. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. This is more than news. This is history. Good night, and let the games begin.